Good morning, everyone. My name is Pecha Kucha, and today I'll be talking to you about Surrealism. Surrealism is an art that focuses mostly on the expression of the human subconscious and on the exploration of the dream, and it found its peak in the fine arts. However, I can't start talking about Surrealism without first introducing Sigmund Freud. He was the creator of psychoanalysis and divided the human brain into three main areas, which are the superego, the ego, and the id being the most primal one, and it focuses on instinctive behavior, fear of death, and the need for sexual reproduction. And this is what inspired a lot of surrealist artists, such as Dali, to represent this dreamlike state of the mind. And the movement exploded with its popularity in the early 1900s. And although there were a lot of different ways to express, it mostly found its way into three main areas, which are metaphysics, automatism, and irrational juxtaposition. Here we see metaphysics, Giorgio de Chirico's work. He used a heavy contrast between lights and shadows, as well as ordinary objects placed in a somewhat bizarre way to create a dreamlike state, and a scenario that also used anatomically correct proportions. This is one of my first attempts at metaphysics. You can see how I tried to keep the contrast between the lights and the anatomically correct, relatively, proportions. And I tried to keep it a little bit empty so that you could really focus on what was happening. I tried another time, but I'm quite fond of this one actually. I did not have access to any sort of traditional or digital painting, so I had to do it all straight with a pen. Again, you see how I kept it relatively blank. I tried to add some surrealist ideas happening right there at the bottom. And we move on to automatism. This is automatic drawing, and it is probably the most unconscious, subconscious way of expressing yourself through surrealism. What happens is that the artist just goes straight ahead in the drawing, and without any sort of previous pre-planning. And what really happens is that you let the subconscious take care of everything. This is another attempt of mine, and what's really interesting about this is that you notice how, despite you work purely in a subconscious state, things like hands, eyes, and somewhat faces at the bottom still emerge through the drawing. And however, one of the other techniques is automatic painting, and the way to achieve this is you draw a random spot on a canvas, and from which you then obtain an image. And this is something I've actually been doing prior to this research. It's my personal way of working. And following up, this is another one of my works. It's just to show the kind of potential that you can achieve with automatic painting. And again, you can see how I still try to use some of metaphysics in it by using, it creates some sort of comical looking and some somewhat surreal figures. Next one is irrational juxtaposition, which is the combination of two objects or multiple objects that seemingly are unrelated to each other to create tension through either an artifact or a photograph, for the matter. However, another way to achieve this is through work known as exquisite corpses, which has the different people work on the same page, where a person would first draw a section of the paper, fold it up, and then pass it on to someone else without showing what they've drawn. And what happens is you create relatively surreal-looking characters. Now, you do not have to abide to human figures. You can just go crazy. This is a work I've done with 5 other students, and you can see actually how I folded the paper in different ways. And we did not limit ourselves to the work of body figures. We just kind of drew whatever came up in our heads. And this is another work of mine, another way to incorporate irrational juxtaposition in photography. Again, I tried to put my hand there. I tried to just place an object in front of the faces to kind of mask identity, but at the same time bring out a relevant idea that the people wanted to express. Again, these poses that they chose to have. But anyway, what is the importance of surrealism in modern days? Well, the thing is, in a world that pretty much dictates every day what we're supposed to think, it's really important to maintain that idea and that need for true freedom of expression. And Yeah, thank you.
I like how you split up your presentation because I know that there's a lot of information on each of those subjects. And I think you chose like the most important of each, like the way you decided to divide your presentation. You got like a good amount for each part, so I thought that was really good.
Jason?
Yeah, the way you split up your information, the pictures going along, that was really great. How you started with Sigmund Freud and his different levels of like thinking, and then going through different ways of like expressing those dreamlike states for surrealism. That's all really important. That's how that came together. So great job on that.
I thought it was brilliant that you included so many examples of your own work because it was actually really good and it was enjoyable to see. And you presented everything well and it was just really good overall.
Thank you.
You mentioned that one of the, you mentioned when you showed one of your pieces that you had actually done it before you had researched this topic.
Yeah.
When were the others done?
So automatic drawing was done after I've done my research.
Okay.
So automatic painting is just something I do kind of on a daily basis.
Mhm.
But metaphysics also is something I've done after the research. So yeah,
So these are very recent.
these are very recent. Yeah, I think probably the oldest two are the blue ones I've shown in automatic painting. I've done those quite a while ago.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Thank